Hey YouTube, Carrotswig here, bringing you all an update to my Ad Ignister Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for post Eternity Code. We wanted to do an update to the Ignister deck for quite some time, and with the release of Eternity Code, we got a bunch of new cards for this deck that definitely does help for the overall playstyle, which is to summon out a bunch of different monsters from your extra deck. And with Eternity Code, we receive their final boss monster, which is the Arrival at Ignister, a Link 6 monster that just is very, very difficult to summon out, but in turn, very, very difficult for your opponent to get rid of on the field, and just overall fun to try and summon out the card. I'm definitely happy with the results of the deck, and I've updated it since the last to have the majority of all the cards you need for the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the monsters, I am running 3 Picari at Ignister. With this one, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 eye, spell, or trap from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 at Ignister monster you control. Its level becomes 4 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Picari once per turn. So with this card, it helps because the level 4 play means you can go for your Light Dragon at Ignister and then use one of your other monsters with Picari to overlay into that card. And being able to search out an eye, spell, or trap means we can easily get access to our main spell in the deck, which is Ignister Island, just being able to set up all the different special summons we can do with this card as well. So you definitely want to play 3 Picari. It just helps for the overall consistency of the deck, being able to have that searcher every turn for your normal or special summons. The same goes for Achichi at Ignister. With this one, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 level 4 or lower at Ignister monster from your deck to your hand, except for Achichi at Ignister. And at the start of damage step, when your Cybers monster battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard to destroy that monster you control. You can only use each effect of Achichi at Ignister once per turn. So that goes for more of the search effect with this one. I definitely do love, just searching out a monster, then link summoning into a Lingaribo, and having the setup free for another monster to special summon out, especially if we have, Ignister Island already on the field to use, with the search of Picari being very, very useful for that as well. So 3 Achichi and 3 Picari are definitely staple, just being overall searches for all your different plays in the deck especially. And I also run 2 Doyon at Ignister. With this one, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 at Ignister monster in your graveyard, add to your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon of a Cybers monster, you can target 1 eye, spell, or trap from your graveyard and add to your hand. You can only use each effect of Doyon at Ignister once per turn. The recycle power you can do with this card, and the add back power is what I really do like about it. Just with that consistency, it definitely does help. I only run 2 of it though. If you open this card up early game, then you can't do much with it. You have to open up your earlier Ignister monsters to have the overall benefit of this card, so that's why I'm only running 2 of it for that play. And I'm also running 2 Boodoo at Ignister, with this one being the tuner for our Synchro monster, Wind Pegasus at Ignister. It definitely does come in handy. I thought of running some of the other ones, the Earth and Water one, but I have some other spots that I prefer instead of those ones for the spots, since I'm not running the Fusion or Ritual in this deck either. I just didn't like the consistency, but I still do love the Synchro plays we can do, and with Boodoo being the setup when it's normal or special summon, being able to send an at Ignister monster from our deck to the graveyard, and if it's sent to the graveyard as material for the synchro summon of a Cybers monster, you can target 1 monster in your graveyard that was used as synchro summon, except for Boodoo and special summon it, giving you more and more resources, along with having our Wind Pegasus on the field. And with Master Rule 5 and not being limited to where we can summon those synchro and exceed monsters now, it just makes it for all the better for some of our other special summons. And then for some of the new Ignister monsters, I'm running 2 Gachiri at Ignister. With this one, the first time each Cybers monster you control will be destroyed by a card effect. Each turn, it is not destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects of Gachiri at Ignister once per turn. You can target 1 Cybers effect monster you control, negate its effects, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster you control. That target is unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the opponent's turn. So with this, having that defense power with Gachiri is a big boost for sure, but I also like it just for the fact that when you summon the Ignister monster, you already use its effect, so being able to negate that effect isn't that big of a problem for the special summon of another one onto the field. And Gachiri is also an Earth monster, meaning for the benefit of all the different attributes for the Arrival, Cybers at Ignister is also very, very useful, since we aren't running any of the Boodoo is the Wind one. I can't remember the name of the Earth one, but we're not running that one because this one I just prefer better for that easy special summon of it onto the field. The same, I'm running one Gusari at Ignister. With this one, when a Link monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your Link monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. And when an attack is declared involving a Link monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and the attack of that monster becomes 3,000. So just a power boost card as well with this card for option. I don't like it as much as Gachiri, that's why I'm only running one of it, but still a good option just for a more power boost effect for all of our different Ignister monsters in the deck. And for some of the more generic Cyberse materials, I'm also running two Parallel Exceed. I still really do like this card for the play, just getting an easy monster on the field. More and more resources to use with this one also, especially since it can become a level 4. It's great for the Exceed plays we can do with some of our other monsters in the deck, since we just need 2 level 4 for a Light Dragon to summon out. I thought of 3. If I were to run 3 of this, I'd probably take out one of the next Cyberse options, but you know, I still like it at the 2 options since it is a once per turn for each of the effects for the special summon. And I also run the 2 Balancer Lord. Just that additional normal summon can definitely help if we're short on some plays in this deck. If you want to go for this play and then just summon out one of the other Ignister monsters in our hand, you can go for that search power, then go for the Link play and have more and more resources on the field to use. I am also running 2 of the new Scripton. With this one, this is the water monster that I prefer for the Cyberse plays with this deck. You can banish one Cyberse monster from your graveyard except for Scripton. Special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the Link summon of a Cyberse monster, you can target one banished monster and shuffle it into the deck. So the banish cost can easily be recycled with this card since you'll be shuffling it back into the deck, but being able to use this card as an easy special summon into some of the Link arrow spots for, let's say, a Dark Templar at Ignister, you have that option for more and more resources. And like I said, it's a water monster that's a lot more easier to summon out and use in the deck altogether. It's why I prefer it. But if you wanted to try 3 of the Parallel Exceed, which I really do prefer the 2 ofs for each of the generic Cyberse monsters we're running, you can try dropping Scripton or Balancer Lord down to 1 and then put in a 3rd Parallel Exceed if you want to try that combo. But I really do like the 2 ofs for all of the different monsters we run in these deck for the generics. And for a little more hand trap power, I am running the 3 Ash Blossom just to help shut down my opponent during their turn. I do like going second with this deck a lot more, so the 3 Ash Blossom just helps, you know, to stop my opponent's plays and then go forth with my play on my turn. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Ignister Island. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower Ignister monster from your hand. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original attribute by the effect of Ignister Island. Also, you cannot special summon monsters except for Cyberse monsters, even if this card leaves the field. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one add Ignister monster from your graveyard to set this card. And you can only use each effect of Ignister Island once per turn. Just the overall setup with all the different special summons you can do. They have to be normal or special summon, so you won't miss out on any of their effects. And as long as you keep the main monster zone free, you can keep on special summoning from your hand as long as they're different attributes. And just being able to recover this card from the graveyard is the added plus as well, so you always have this card to use on the field, unless your opponent banishes it, but that's why we're also running 3. And I am also running 3 Idol Reborn, just a great quick play spell for special summoning back resources onto the field. You really can't go wrong with this card. And then just also having the recycle power for this card is an added plus for sure. Being able to benefit from the special summon and the recycle power of being able to target one of your eye spell or traps that is banished in your graveyard, except for Idol Reborn, then adding that card to your hand. That's why I definitely like running 3 of it. I thought of dropping it down to 2 and maybe trying one of the other Ignister monsters, but that's really player preference at that point if you want to try it. Since this card is searchable with cards like Picari, you really have the search option for it, but I always just find those games where I'm down to 2 if I test out 2, and then always wishing I had that 3rd one just to search out and use as a resource. And I'm also running 1 Eye Contact. If Ignister Island is on your field, reveal 1 Ignister Island in your hand, place it on the bottom of your deck, and if you do, draw 3 cards. You can only activate 1 Eye Contact per turn. It's another searcher, and I just really like it when, let's say I open up Picari, and then I have the additional island already in my hand. If I normal summon Picari, and then search out my 2nd island with the monster, I can then use Eye Contact to place it on the bottom, and then you don't shuffle, you draw 3 cards, so you won't draw another island. You can potentially just draw more and more resources with this card in your hand. So very useful for that play. I'm only running 1 of, just like Picari. If you open up the multiple islands, you can search it out with Picari and then just go from there with the play. And then to search out the proper Cybers monsters, I'm also running 3 Signet Mining. You send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 level 4 or lower Cybers monster from your deck to your hand. You can activate 1 Signet Mining per turn, but whatever you need for the play, and then just being able to set up more and more Cybers in your graveyard, which you can easily revive with other spells, is a big benefit for sure with this card in the deck. If you don't have Signet Mining, I know some of the other cards are more expensive, but you definitely need Ignister Island. But if you don't have the budget for Signet Mining, just like in the Cybers deck profile, Signet Backdoor can work just as well for that search power. And for some of the one-ofs, I'm running 1 Monster Reborn and the 1 Terraforming, more and more search power, especially for our field spell, and just special summoning more resources back from the graveyard onto the field. And I'm also running 3 Call by the Grave. This is just my good hand trap option, or just to stop some of my opponent's resources in the graveyard from being used as well. And lastly, to finish off the main deck, probably one of the best cards, since I do like going second in this deck. If you don't have Lightning Storm, I know it's quite a pricey card at the moment. You can run Regeki, Twin Twister, you name it, as the final spot here. Mix and match Regeki, Dark Hole, Twin Twister, you name it for the different spots here if you don't have the Lightning Storm. But being able to clear your opponent's back row or monsters and then go for your own plays is one I definitely like, and why I'm, really do love testing out the Ignister deck, just with all the different plays you can do. So 3 Lightning Storm definitely needed, but if you're going for a more budget play, Regeki, Dark Hole, and like I said, Twin Twisters can definitely fill these spots as well. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. The boss monster, which I really do love summoning out, is the rival Cybers at Ignister. You need 3 or more monsters with different attributes to summon this card. It is the first Link 6 monster. You can only control 1 the arrival Cybers at Ignister. The original attack of this card becomes 1,000 times the number of Link materials used to Link summon it. It's unaffected by other card effects, and once per turn, you can target 1 other monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do special summon 1 at Ignister token, Cybers Dark, level 1, attacks, defense, and both 0. To your zone, this card points to. You have plenty of zones to summon out this card. You have the options for this card to just have immense attack, depending on what you use to summon it out, especially when using our next card for this card to get out, and that is Dark Templar at Ignister. With this card's special summoning power, you get all the resources you need as long as you have the different attributes to summon this card out onto the field for a pretty high attack point power to rely on. Also with Dark Templar, just being able to special summon those targets and giving you more and more special summon when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle. You definitely want to run 2, so you always have the option to go into this card needing 3 monsters with different names, but definitely worth it since it can set up your boss monster, like I said also. And for more of the Link 1 setup, I run 2 Lingaribo, just need 1 level 4 or lower Cybers monster to summon it out. The trap negation and just being able to summon it back onto the field by tributing another Ad Ignister monster is a big plus for sure, especially with our new ones that we're running being able to be used for that option also. And for some of the more generic Link support, I'm running 1 Cybers Witkid, 1 Splash Mage, 1 Transcode Talker, 1 Mech Knight Crusadia, 1 Topologic Zoroboros, 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon, and 1 Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. And for the rest of the extra deck, I run the 1 Wing Pegasus. I know I have 2 Bududu in the deck, but I still do like it for the setup. If you want to put in another card, you could put in Cybers Quantum Dragon, and if you were to put that in, you could try taking out Cybers Witkid or Dark Fluid or even Topologic Bomber Dragon for the second synchro spot. And lastly, I also run the 2 Light Dragon at Ignister for the Exceed plays, and the protection this card can do is a big boost for sure for the deck. And as for the go-to play to summon out the Arrival at Ignister, as long as you have your main setup, which is the easy special summon by having your Ignister Island set up on the field, and if you get the play where you summon out your Picari at Ignister to search out the Ignister Island, then being able to link into a Lingaribo using the Picari, and then having the resources in your hand, whether it's another Ignister monster, you can special summon out Achichi, use Achichi's effect to search out another monster, and then go with those resources there. As long as you search out the play to go for, being able to grab that monster is a big boost for sure. And then being able to revive the Picari onto the field, either using the Idol Reborn, you can special summon Picari, use these 3 for the Link play to go into your Dark Templar, summoning it out onto the field, and then using the Dark Templar's effect, which I also love using as long as you have the resource in your hand, which is the Scripton, because with your Dark Templar specifying if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, even during the damage step, all you have to do is banish one card with Scripton to summon it out. So as long as you have that resource most of the time, so you can get the other attribute. I like to banish the Link Karibo, so you can keep it the Dark attribute, special summoning your Water attribute, and then using your Dark Templar to special summon the other two onto the field, giving you the 4 monsters here, which is total Link 6 as well, using all 3 to summon out the Arrival Cyberus Agnister. It's not full power. You could always go for more and more resources, but you'll still have the 4,000 attack with this card alone being the Link 6 monster on the field. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. This is definitely one of the coolest cards from the newest set, in my opinion. Just overall art and playstyle for sure. Definitely a fun deck, so definitely give it a try. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.